Hey everyone, this is Steven here, back at it again with another video. In today's video, I plan on looking at some sports cards that have been trending down for quite some time, and these players are going to be some of the better, more established players within the league. But before we get into that, if you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more in the future, please feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe. So now that we got that out of the way, we can get into the actual video. And the main goal and purpose of this video is to try to help us identify some players that their cards have been trending down for quite some time. And in this video specifically, I'm not going to be focusing on any prospects or younger players. I really want to hone in on some of the more established and well-rounded players that have been doing it for quite some time now and that have a decent amount of accolades. So I really want to be focusing on some of those players and cards. I will be touching on the NFL card market, the NBA card market, and also the MLB card market. So I will be briefly touching on each of those markets and highlighting some players in each of those sports. But before we get into that, I did want to say happy Father's Day to everyone. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday, enjoying time with their friends and family. And again, just happy Father's Day to everyone out there. But with that being said, we can finally get into the video now. I apologize for all the intros there, but we're going to start off here. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video is because I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and it seems like a lot of the talk and discussion has been around, the next young best player that's going to be up and coming, and they're going to take the league by storm and all this stuff. And I've been prospecting and I've been dabbling in some of those younger players for quite some time now, and from my experience, you can get lucky here and there, but for the most part, most of those players don't really pan out. So for this video specifically, I just really wanted to focus on some players that have already established themselves, have already won some awards, some accolades, and if they ended up getting hurt and were out for a season or two, I would still feel comfortable holding their cards because they've already done so much in the league. So I really want to focus on those cards, and this chart here really caught my attention, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to start with this. But this is the NFL card market here, and I have 4 players. I have Justin Herbert's 2020 Prism in a base PSA 9, Joe Burrow 2020 Prism, a base PSA 9, and Lamar Jackson 2018 Prism base PSA 9, and then also Kyler Murray 2019 Prism base PSA 9. And I found this really interesting, just comparing the 4 cards. And as you can see, just by looking at lines there, they're all trending pretty close. So if you look at this as of 6/10, if you compare the 4, Justin Herbert is selling more than Kyler Murray. So Justin Herbert's PSA 9s are about $185, still down 20%. Joe Burrow's number 2, and he's down 16% still, but his PSA 9 was selling for about $143. And then Lamar Jackson was number 3 at $142. And then Kyler Murray was selling the lowest on the list at $117, down 20%. So to me, this just kind of caught my attention because if I was looking at this, I would expect Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson to be higher on the list. I think that Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are both fine and fantastic players, but Burrow's coming up with that injury, still on the Bengals. Herbert had one good year. He's still very new to the league. He does look like he has a lot of potential, but again, it's just been 1 year, and the Chargers do have a history of not really playing up to their full potential, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. But I just personally think that those Burrow and Herbert's cards, to me at least, seem more overinflated than the Lamar Jacksons and Kyler Murray's. Lamar Jackson has an MVP. It seems like a lot of people want to forget about that. He does have an MVP under his belt. No one's going to take that away from him. Lamar is a lot riskier because he's a running quarterback, so there is some risk there, but he still does have an MVP. He's on a pretty good Baltimore Ravens team, and if he can just get a little more accurate on his throwing, I think that he could unlock a lot of potential there. And then Kyler Murray just has unlimited potential there on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm a Seahawks fan, so it is kind of scary looking at how good the Cardinals are becoming. They have Hopkins as wide receiver, and they just brought in AJ Green. They have a lot of good young receivers over there too, so I think Kyler Murray has a lot of potential. But again, this just kind of highlighted to me that these younger players, to me, it seems like they have a lot of hype built in around them, where some of these older players, a little more established, they're getting overlooked. So I really want to focus on some of these more established players that are still trending down. So now we'll switch over to baseball here, and I went over this chart in yesterday's video, and I didn't realize how much these have gone down, but this is Mookie Betts and his 2014 Topps Chrome update, and I'm looking at a PSA 9, only has 222 in the PSA population report, whereas his 2014 Topps Update base rookie card has about 1,300. So pretty low population on these 2014 Topps cards. And over the past 90 days, the Topps Chrome is down 40% and the Topps Update base is down about 64%. So pretty significant downward trends for these two cards. And I just wanted to highlight on Mookie Betts, if he ended up getting injured and was out for a season, he is struggling this year, but I just want to go over some of his stats. He is a one-time MVP, four-time All-Star, two-time World Series winner, so he already has that under his belt, five-time Gold Glove winner, four-time Silver Slugger. He's won one batting title. So this guy already has a lot of accolades. He's on currently probably the best team in the league, the Dodgers. He signed a massive contract with them, so he's going to be locked up with the Dodgers over the next decade or so. So I just think that the future is really bright with Mookie Betts, and with his cards trending down so much, I think that this would potentially be a card to put on your watch list and just kind of see what happens. But for me, I would feel really comfortable picking up some of his cards just because, like we just went over his stats, and he already has a lot of accomplishments. He's struggling a little bit right now. He has had a thumb injury. I'm assuming he's going to bounce back. And again, he's on a very good Dodgers team. So I just think that the risk to reward, for me at least, is looking like it's going to be there for Mookie Betts because he already is such an established player. And then the next player in the MLB is going to be another legend, arguably the best player of the last decade, potentially this generation. But this is Mike Trout, and I'm looking at his 2011 Topps Update base rookie card, and this is down about 36%. So again, this is another very, very well-established player, one of the best players of our generation, and his card is still down about 36%. He has had an injury, so he's been out for a little bit, but his stats so far, again, overall, he's a three-time MVP, eight-time All-Star, eight-time Silver Slugger, and his overall WAR is about 76, which is pretty ridiculous. And even in 2021, he was batting about 333 with 8 home runs. So he was having a really good year this year before his injury. So I just think that the risk to reward seems to be there for Mike Trout, and he's one of the players that I'm most confident in over the long term just because he's such a great athlete and such a great baseball player. But this card, I understand that this is pretty expensive, so this is about $1,200 for a PSA 9. So I did want to offer a cheaper solution if anyone is interested in Mike Trout rookie cards. So you can look at his 2011 Topps Finest rookie card, and this is again a Topps rookie card. This card looks really nice, and this also has the rookie card logo up there, so it's not one of these knockoff brands or anything like that, but it looks like you can get these between $200 and $300 raw. So this is still pretty expensive, but it is a cheaper alternative if you are looking to buy some Mike Trout cards and don't have the $1,200 that a lot of us don't have or are willing to spend for a Mike Trout rookie card. So there are some cheaper alternatives here. And then now I'm going to switch over to the NBA card market, and I'm going to focus on LeBron James here. And I just want to highlight over the last 90 days, I have his 2003 Topps base rookie card, and then also his Topps Chrome base rookie card, both in PSA 9s. And the Topps Chrome has gone down about 46%, and the Topps base has gone down about 41%. So both of them have been trending down pretty significantly. He did suffer an ankle injury halfway through the year. He was playing fantastic up until that injury, and then they did recently get knocked out of the playoffs. So I do anticipate these cards to continually go down for who knows how long, but I do feel like at some point they are going to start trending up, whether it's after this NBA season or heading into next year's season. And I think at some point these cards are going to start trending up, and these specific cards are both very intriguing to me. I just really think that LeBron James is a great basketball player. I know that a lot of people are divided on this. Seems like half the people like him, half the people love him, but for me, I just think he's a fantastic basketball player. And for his cards to go down about 46%, that really catches my attention. And then speaking of LeBron, I don't want to spend too much time on his accolades, but I'm just going to go over a couple of them. He's a 17-time All-Star. He's a 4-time NBA champ, 6-time All-Defensive Team, 17-time All-NBA. And then if you look at the all-time points, he's number 3 currently. He's about 3,000 behind Kareem. So you would think that he's going to break that record here within the next couple of seasons. So I do anticipate there could potentially be a price increase once he does become the all-time point scorer. And then if you look at assists, so he's number 3 currently for points. For assists, He's currently number 8, so he's making his way up the list on points. And then if you look at steals too, he's number 13 all time on steals. So he's just making his way up every list on the all time scoring, points, assists, you name it, he's on all the lists. So I just think that LeBron James is too good to be trending down this much. However, I do realize again that these cards are pretty expensive, so I did want to show a lower cost alternative. This is his 2003 Fleer, and this is raw. And again, this has a pretty decent picture. It's a nice looking card. As you see the picture there, it does say rookie right there. And this card is currently raw. It looks like it's selling for about $139 was the last sale price, and this is down about 67%. So this is a cheaper alternative if you are looking to get into some LeBron James rookie cards. And another thing I wanted to mention on this is a lot of hype around some NBA players. I just want to mention Ja Morant. That's been a player that a lot of people have been mentioning, and I think Ja Morant is a great player. He has a lot of upside. He's still really young, but I just did want to mention that he's currently 21 years old. We'll call it 22. He's basically 22 years old. And if you look at his stats, he's an all-rookie team. He hasn't made an all-star game. They get bounced every year, first round in the playoffs. So in order for him to get on LeBron James's level, and again, that's setting the bar really high, LeBron James has 17 all-star games. That would mean that Ja Morant, who currently has been in the league for 2 years, that would mean Ja Morant would have to make the all-star game 17 times in order to get on LeBron James's level. Now, I understand Ja Morant has a lot of potential, a lot of hype around him, but for me, I just feel a lot more comfortable putting my money in guys like LeBron James and then the next guy on the list rather than Ja Morant, because to me, he just doesn't have the accolades yet. He's been in the league 2 years, he hasn't made an all-star team. He hasn't made an all-star game, and I get that, he's trending up, but I just feel more comfortable buying some of these more established players. I understand that over the short term, guys like Ja Morant could make you more money over the short term, but for me, I just feel more comfortable holding these more established players. And then that leads me to my next player, and this is Kevin Durant here. Again, it seems like a lot of people either love him or hate him. I personally just think he's a great player. I'm not really a fan of him as a person. I just think that the Twitter stuff is a little weird that he does, but I do think that he's a great player and one of the best all-time scorers of all time. I've never seen anyone be able to score a basketball like he has. But over the past 90 days, his cards, and I have here his Topps base rookie card, and then his Topps factor set, which is the white variation, and then the Topps factor set orange. So the orange is down about 56%. The base in a PSA 9 is down about 63%, and the base factor set, which is the white variation, is down about 60%. So all these cards over the last 90 days have been trending down pretty significantly. And I just think that, Kevin Durant, if we look at his stats, he's an 11-time All-Star. So again, if Ja Morant wanted to get on Kevin Durant's level, he would have to be an 11-time All-Star, and Kevin Durant still has at least 5 more good years under his belt, so he can still keep playing. 2-time NBA champ, that's something that they can never take away from him. They did recently just lose to the Bucks. However, I do think that the Nets will be back next year, and they'll probably be favorites if their team is healthy. And he also has an MVP under his belt, so he's a very established player. And again, I just think he's one of the best scorers I've ever seen. So I just feel very comfortable holding his cards, and I do anticipate these to continue to trend downwards now that they did recently get knocked off. But if you just look at his factor set, you can get one currently for about $200. So I just think that the risk to reward there, for me at least, it seems to be there. These are cards that I plan on watching, and if they keep going lower, I'm definitely intrigued with some of Kevin Durant's cards, as I do think he's just a great all-around player. But with that being said, that's the end of the list for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you got some sort of information and entertainment out of it, please feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.